All right, guys, join me here. I want to talk another minute about some abortion stuff. So, I did finish that video, part two, with my other video. And, whoa, whoa, this lady talks about how this abortion was forced, how the doctors would say, if you don't want to go through with this, you don't have to. And then as soon as they started, done deal, and they didn't even always start, start isn't always starting. One woman, they left the baby's head in her womb. She had an IUD. They had to go back into that and take the head out. This stuff is hard to listen to, guys. And most women who have had an abortion don't even know the medical stuff that they're doing. So, so for me, it could have been stopped. It could have been when I was in my mother's car. It could have been. She saw my pain. She saw I could barely breathe. I was not medicated that I know of. Um, but I still do not remember going from, I don't remember getting upstairs in that room. I mean, I remember going in one point and having people on the sidewalk yelling or whatever they were doing, and my mother shielding me from that by walking beside me and blocking them. Um, I think that, I'm wondering if that was before or after. I mean, it was all a blur, guys. That pain was so bad. And I don't, whether I had walked in after or what, I don't remember going upstairs. I just cannot remember it. Maybe I did and I just don't remember, but there was so much going on and it happened so fast. And then, like, I remember later with my mother driving in Concord, New Hampshire, and I'm like, what are they saying with that word? What is abortion? She said, don't worry about it. Don't pay attention to them. So there were people on the sidewalk on the corner of, what is that, 93? And, or 393, right on the corner of North Main. And, yeah, she said, don't worry about it. So I honestly did not even know what it was. And there is a grace there. I was protected from a lot because I did not know. But at the same time, I had no medication. And so this doctor medicated the patient. And when she was waking up, realized that he was so neglectful that he didn't get the head of the baby. Is that not disgusting? So he had to go back and get the head. And they just sedated her again when she started to come to. And just started again and said, gave her more medication and put her back to sleep. So when we say women have a choice, no, they do not always have a choice. It's usually uninformed. We are now starting, like I said, to talk about this and to get abortion out into the world, what exactly it is. Live action is always educating people, which is so important. So then after I had the whole trauma of that happening, losing a boyfriend, being mad at a boyfriend because the condom broke. It was just one thing after another. Guys, we didn't have this thing called mental health back then. But boy, you want to talk about having to get over a lot. And then I had to deal with my boyfriend's mother coming over, which I didn't expect. I had nobody. How could I have even processed an abortion when nobody would talk about it? And then she gave me the silent treatment. Then I was dropped off. So after you get a silent treatment from an adult, you got to walk home. How, you know what I mean? There's just nothing was dealt with. So I had to walk home. And I remember, I always say this, just slamming the door, not too hard, but slamming it and being like, never again. And I just felt like never would I trust someone again. And, you know, eventually I did. And of course, what happened with my husband, right? And so just kind of walking down the road and feeling like a sense of relief for a second. This woman saying she never saw anybody happy after an abortion. For the most part, that's true. But on the sidewalk, I did see girls thinking, thanking the escort, saying, thank you so much, and a sense of relief. But that's not the real deal, guys. So, I remember just feeling all alone, walking down the road, hardening up, feeling like walls coming up. and being like, never again, a little sense of relief. And then, oh no, my brother's coming home on the early release bus, right? Wednesday morning. I mean, Wednesday after school, early release, right? What? This was not planned. What? There's another trauma there. Oh my goodness. Dealing with that kind of stress of trying to get in the door because I knew that my brother was not supposed to know. You know, I knew that it was done hush hush. I couldn't get in there fast enough. What do, right? So he goes in and he says, "Why is Melissa out of school? My father's home. I don't expect him home. A construction worker who usually works during the day. There's a whole nother thing you got to deal with, right? And then keep your mouth shut. Your sister had an abortion. More trauma, right? Totally humiliated. On and on it went, guys. Not to mention the phone calls made to the parents, not to mention being dragged over there and not even understanding how to process anything. So when we say women are forced, and this is why I told Life Network that I had a forced abortion, and they're like, you couldn't be unless you were sex trafficked. Well, let's talk about that a minute. Lots of women have been sex trafficked and are taken to Planned Parenthood. But now they're trying to look for that. They're trying to be like, okay, is this person sex trafficked? To a point, they say they are. But what would you do? Let's think about this. What would I have done if I was sex trafficked? I mean, like, okay, so let's say I was sex trafficked. Would it really have mattered at the doctor's office? No, it wouldn't have. So that is a lie that Life Network has promoted when you are in their pregnancy center. So if I was in there and the doctor, because there was no conversation, no explanation of what abortion is, the doctor he wouldn't have asked me. He wouldn't have been like, were you sex trafficked? Were you, there's nothing on the paper. I'm told just to read it. There's nothing on the paper that says, were you sex trafficked? Were you, whatever. So that is a lie straight from hell that women have to be sex trafficked in order to have an abortion. And that is the common thing we're seeing now, that it is forced. So these pregnancy centers better get their act together with really listening to people. I had to fight to be listened to about my abortion. I had to fight in a place where you should be able to be open and be able to be honest and say, this is what happened and have that care. I had to fight. And there was another woman in there too who was like, don't tell me it was wrong, because she couldn't process this yet. So we need much better care, guys. I do want to put a curriculum together of really helping women. It's not an 8-week program, 12-week program. It is years of trying to heal and get that, like an onion, it's all these layers. You have to be able to peel it to get to the layers. We have to do more. We have to give women long-term care. And one of the things I want to do with my resource hub is to provide post-traumatic care for women who have had abortions. That's another area I want to help, because think about this. Think about this. You are carrying all this crap that happened to you. You're trying to have a relationship with your husband. You're trying to have a relationship with your kids. And yes, you can. But it's so much easier once that's healed, right? And so now think of that financially. When you are trying to heal, you're going to classes, which is digging up more stuff that you have to deal with it totally different to heal and apply more wisdom and knowledge and healing to those wounds, and you have to work. That's tough, guys. So I want to help women be able to be home with their kids and get all the help they need for post-traumatic stress, and be able to have enough money so that they don't have to worry about the bills. They don't have to worry about anything while they are healing. So maybe it will be a center. They have a maternity center I just signed up to volunteer with. But it may be like that, except it's like a, I don't know how I'm going to do this. It's probably, for women who are married, giving them that extra money so they can, not just save on diapers, but other things so that they can be well cared for. So we need long-term care for women. We need long-term help for women, especially women who have had abortions, guys, or whether their husband left or whatever. We need long-term care. So I had called a church tonight and I'm like, hey, this is the situation. Just got my van fixed and therefore this is the needs now. They're like, oh, okay, yep, they've helped me before. And they're like, let's see how the rest of the budget looks like and let's see what we can get to you this month. Big difference, guys. There's no guarantee, right, that they can help. But look at how that's put compared to the other church I just dealt with a pastor. We don't know you. Is that really going to make me open up so that you can know me? I don't owe anybody anything, and I definitely don't owe them getting to know me. So, see the difference there? Big difference, right? Mind your business. This is what I'm talking about with resources. This is where the need is. You can either meet it or you don't. You don't have to accuse me of slander. You don't have to accuse me of all this crap and make my life difficult just because I asked for help. So, my van still has a steering problem, but that's another day. So we need more care for women. And the more women are cared for, the more they can take care of their kids, the more the next generations rise up to be healthier. And that's what we want, guys. All right. Thanks for joining me.